We sadly start today with yet another one of the sorts of mass shooting tragedies that are all too common in the United States. We now believe that, according to some reports, 18 people have been killed. According to others, 22 have been killed. Around 50 or more have been injured in and around Lewiston, Maine, in the northeast of the United States. This is not the only mass shooting of the last few days, but it is what we might call the only major mass shooting of national noteworthiness, which is a crazy standard to have, but that's the way it is in the United States because these are all too common. The latest news from NBC News, at least 18 killed in shootings in Lewiston, Maine. Manhunt is underway. As of this moment, police are looking for a 40-year-old man. They have not caught him. This guy is on the loose after attacks at a bowling alley and a bar last night in Lewiston, Maine. According to NBC News, it's 18 dead, 4 critically injured, and 60 others injured. Other sources say 22 dead and 50 plus injured. We won't know the exact numbers probably for a little while longer, and hopefully there are no more because remember that this is an active manhunt at this point in time. What's happening in this part of Maine? Officials are urging residents of Maine's second largest city, Lewiston, and nearby Auburn to shelter in place. Residents in other communities have been asked to stay put. Many schools and businesses are closed. Police have named a guy named Robert Card, 40 years old. Now, normally we would not name the shooters. In this case, the individual is at large, and saying his name might give some ideas to anyone who knows him or knows of him as to where he might be. So normally I don't give these guys any attention in the sense of their name. It seems relevant here that this is the person of interest. This is the person police are looking for. So if this name rings a bell, if it's someone that is known to you or known to someone you know, you may actually have information that would be useful. The local county sheriff's office released photos of a man with a rifle. NBC has sent a bunch of people up to Maine. The details are, of course, as horrifying as they are with any of these things about causing panicked public terror situations. And you have businesses that are shut down. LL Bean has shut down its headquarters, stores, and factories in Maine, saying that they are doing it out of an abundance of caution. Lisbon police in nearby Lisbon, Maine, are saying, let us know if you see anything suspicious. Militarized law enforcement officers are gathering, as you can see in these images. The two locations in question, one slightly north of Lewiston, the just-in-time recreation bowling alley, one slightly south of Lewiston, Shemenji's Bar and Grill Restaurant. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And then you start to learn about the personal tragedies of the individuals that have been lost. The suspect is believed to be a trained firearms instructor and a U.S. Army Reserve. That's information we have right now. I believe it is accurate. Multiple sources are reporting that. If that changes by tomorrow, I will let you know. It is also believed that this individual was recently released from a mental health facility. So there are a number of important things that we can add. Active situation. This is an individual that needs to be caught, ongoing. But what is it that we can add beyond just they got to find this guy? First of all, as I mentioned, mass shootings in the United States are really common, really, really common. And so this is a mass shooting that is so particularly heinous that it's making national headlines. Various national media outlets are dispatching the reporters to go to Maine, etc. But this was Wednesday. There was also a mass shooting on Tuesday in North Carolina, and it made local but not national news. And then on Monday, we had 2 mass shootings, one in Chicago and one in Colorado. And then on Sunday, we had 3 mass shootings, one in Louisiana, one in Arkansas, one in Mississippi. They don't all make national news. There are tiers of mass shootings in the United States because these are so common. And so remember that for every one of these that does make the news, there's often 5, 10, 15, or 20, or even more. If it's been 2 months between national interest mass shootings, there have probably been 50 to 100 mass shootings in that intervening time that you didn't hear about. Tragedy, unspeakable tragedy. Secondly, we also have to look at gun safety laws in Maine. And as we always do, no one law would prevent every shooting, But a group of laws and regulations, many of which I've suggested, would certainly reduce the number. Maine doesn't require background checks on all gun sales. Maine does not have a red flag law where people can be flagged for particular circumstances, including interactions with the mental health system. Maine does not prevent domestic abusers from accessing guns. Maine does not ban assault weapons. Maine does not limit magazine capacity. Maine does not require concealed carry permits. Maine does not restrict open carry. Maine does not have a waiting period. Now, I am not suggesting to you, here is the exact one of those provisions that would have prevented this particular guy from having the particular firearms he had on this particular day. But that's a lot of different ways that you can approach different problems within the entire sort of gun sales industrial complex fueled by the NRA and gun manufacturers. So that's what we know about Maine gun laws. This is what we know about the number of victims and the severity. And this is what we know about the suspect. Hopefully, no more life is taken. This guy is caught. With a lot of these guys, they have a death wish. They either plan to take their own lives if and when police get close, or to generate a situation where police take their lives. As I always say, I hope that they get this guy alive. And if there is anything to be gleaned or learned from exactly how he got the guns, what it is that caused him to do this, I believe it's always better to have more information than less. So that's where we are. You now know everything that I know, and we're going to follow it very closely. Have you seen these people search sites? It's a big data privacy problem in the United States. They publish personal profiles on millions of Americans for people to see. It's crazy. They can show your address, your internet activity, license plate can be there, even your political and religious beliefs. People buy and sell this information about you. And sometimes it's even shown online for free without you being aware. Our sponsor, Incogni, is a powerful platform that will simplify this whole process for you. You create an account on Incogni. Within a minute, they go to work getting your data taken down from these data broker databases. They'll keep you updated every step of the way. They'll handle disputes or websites that try to refuse to take your info down. It can cut down on robocalls. It can make you less susceptible to scams. Even identity theft is a risk that they can help mitigate. Folks, you do not want this type of personal information floating around out there. Let Incogni take care of it for you. The first 100 people to use the promo code PACMAN get 60% off when you go to incogni.com/PACMAN. The link is down below.